Yo, I was like, Raw was over here shaking that thing up a bit. They was over here bumbling, tumbling. Wait, that probably be more for Halloween. I was like, they was over here getting. I was like, go ahead getting that turkey cooked. I'll figure out the food analogy, but I was like, no, it was real. I was like, it was a really interesting night of Raw. I was like, I think we got a lot of things moving and shaking, and I was like, which is good because I was like, after Judgment Day, I was like, don't get me wrong, it was in here, but I was like, that story has sort of like got a little simmer, where you got to put that thing on low because you don't want that water to burn and evaporate. But I was like, it's still there, but we got a whole bunch of storylines that's going on. I was like, going with the New Day stuff, I like that the tension had gotten to the point that even at Kofi is kind of like, bro, get off me, don't touch me. What's wrong with you? If I ask you to do these things, why are you coming and invading my stuff? And he's like, why can't you just take the win? And it's like, bro, you be over here asking for things and I gotta follow. Why you can't just, but hey, you gave him the quarterback rules. But I was like, at the same time, that tension is like real. It's like really there, or whatever. To where it's like, Kofi, you want to get on board, or how we gonna do this? I was like, so that's moving right along, right into their 10th anniversary. And I was like, that's good to see how the direction how it goes. I don't know. I still don't really know. I was like, if it's gonna be turn on New Day, Xavier Woods, or just being like, I'm out kind of thing. And maybe it could be something where like he's out, after they have like Big E probably shows up on the 10th on the reunion or whatever, and you just sort of do like a Jay situation where it's just like he just go to another brand because Xavier Woods going to SmackDown because I'm like he faced a good amount of people on Raw to be honest, but he also had a chance to get the U.S. Championship over there than he does on SmackDown. Maybe I'll talk about that a little another time. But another thing I also liked is pretty much, and I was like, I'm sort of just jumping all over the place. I was like, I like this whole clusterfuck that is of all the women. I think it's actually smart than just like the clusterfuck of being like a 10-woman tag kind of thing. I was like, everybody's sort of just like it's like you got Nia, you got Tiffany. It goes over to SmackDown, got the tag team titles involved. I was like Raquel, and I was like, be honest. I think you sort of seen, and I was like, we'll see if they add one more because we've seen that as being a thing. This is going to be the War Games match. It's basically going to be the women champions, their side piece, and versus the tag team champions, Naomi, and it could be Damage Control, but Naomi going to be in there. Io like she's going to be in there. We gotta have Io. You stupid if you don't. And maybe Dakota Kai get back up in there. She just came back, but yeah. And I was like, she came back, so they had to give her the win. And Io got a #1 contendership over Pure Feud and Collective. But I would like if now also Damage Control beats with Pure Fusion. I was like, they did take Kai out, so to give them an actual like 3-3, they just keep having beef. I was like, give Pure Fusion Collective something to actually do and just beat their ass, and stuff like that. Like there's been a lot of things they can really set up from here. I don't know who on SmackDown they would pick to be the 5th if they do go 5. To be honest, they're gonna have to go 5 because they're gonna get Candice LeRae probably on the squad. That's what it's gonna be. Yeah, so that was like that. I like that mix just because even if it wasn't War Games, it's getting women involved. That's all like and it's really the top women if you think about it too. Like it's almost like having your cake and eating it too, where it's like you get them all involved, but it's also really the ones that are draws in a lot of these matches. I'm just saying like you're not really getting the same thing with Party Girls. And it's like you're not like some of these women you're not getting the same roar with where it's like everyone loved Io. People like Kairi Sane. I was like Kai got a big one. I was like Baszler and Shayna. Baszler and Zoe's not really, but at the same time their group sort of does. I was like they just haven't been able to be heels at this point, really, to be honest. I also enjoyed that the Wyatt Sick got beat in some form. I was like, yes, they're not superhuman, but they're crazy. So therefore, that gives you some extra powers if you never, seen what crazy can do. So I like that fact that it's like that the Final Testament was able to beat down the Wyatt Sick, because I was like, oh, I didn't even realize. I was over here doing the math and I didn't even think about it. I'm like, oh, with the Miz they actually got 4-on-4. Okay, with the guys, I know that Scarlett and Nikki would cancel each other out, and I was like, okay, cool. I was like, look, the first grade math, and that's preschool. I know, I'm dumb at that time, but I was like, it just threw me off just because I was like, I guess because I'm just counting. Wait, no. Uncle Howdy. Yeah. I think it's really just because I was like how I was counting like Loomis and Rowan. Maybe because I was like, oh, they big. I gave them 2 people. I don't know, and like you need to buy 2 seats, but more like damn, they big. They got too many people. I was like, and I just don't ever think of Uncle Howdy in their group a lot of times. Like he sort of does single stuff. But I like that the Miz was like he tricked him. Because at first I did like the fact that he was bleeding from his eye. I don't know if that was supposed to happen, but it did add a nice little wrinkle to it or whatever. Because it's just like a nice little trickle of blood. I think that was by accident. It's having to work out well. Because now I'm like, okay, cool. This is going to be a good setup because the Final Testament is sort of like the Wyatt Sick in a lot of ways. While it's not the spooky nature, it is the mysterious nature of it. I was like, they both are trying to have people be, like turn them in a certain type of way, even if one side is like being good and the other side is being bad. So I was like, that was really good. Also, I was like, I didn't think they were going to do a 5th member for the Bloodline Wargames, to be honest. And I was like, cool. So I was like, oh, does that mean that we're getting a Rock? I was like, you sort of, to me, like you're going to have to get a Rock. You kind of can't. I feel like you kind of can't throw nobody out there that, like, if they added another brother or something like that. I feel like you can't do that. It's too close for that, to be honest. I mean, unless it was some like behemoth person, maybe that's the only way you could do it. I like the fact that they did it to go and ask Seth. That was one of my predictions a couple months ago of it being Seth at some point. But I was like, now I'm thinking, I don't know if it's going to be Seth. I was like, but I did like Jimmy over here talking to Braun, and I thought that'd be a cool wrinkle of like all the shit he was talking about the family, and then being like, oh man, look at this, my family gotta come and save your family or something like that. Like I think that'd be a cool little spin to it. Yeah, no, I was like, I like the idea because I was like, they said that nobody on either spots, but I was like, I'm pretty sure on SmackDown we're gonna see. We seen Jay try to talk to Ray, and that didn't go so well. I was like I said, I was like, is that the only person that Sammy talked to? I felt like he talked to somebody else, but anyway, I was like, I like the idea of SmackDown and like trying to be like, because Randy wasn't the one last year. I was like, I was like, Cody being like, no, I don't want Cody in it. But I would like there to be some type of surprise that's kind of like, oh, okay. Like, I don't know if there's anybody from NXT they could grab. I was like, if it's not The Rock, I don't see them doing that in a way. I was like, but also I can't see The Rock. He's doing tour right now with his movies. That's kind of difficult. But I like the idea. I was like, maybe that'd be an idea of who could be the 5th member. But I was like, other than probably getting Sheamus and Braun Breaker for the title, which Braun will just win or whatever. Because I was like, it sort of be too redundant of doing the same thing. He loses to an older guy just to get it back. But Damien Priest, that dude did a promo. I was like, he basically, and I was like, Gunther played right into that too of being, I wonder how the Gunther people going to take that of him looking like he shook or whatever. But I was like, Priest was basically like, oh, you got doubt now. I had doubt. I don't have doubt no more. So you want to do something? Go ahead. You not, because you got doubt. Because otherwise, you would try to have a swing, but I just lay your ass out. And I was like, oh, his big ass not wrong. I was like, the way he be coming with them punches, I was like, hey, he might take you out a bit. Like, yeah, Gunther. I was like, I mean, That's gonna be a good match. Don't get me wrong, Gunther's gonna win, but I do like if we get this type of Priest, which you sort of got, and he also took out all of his way to talk about it, from street trash to the like your parents they ain't do nothing to raise you, like you had to crawl your way. He took all that out of him, and this just like left Gunther in a way of speechless or whatever. Which it was a interesting route just to be like, okay, you took your badass champion to basically have no words and stuff like that, which he sort of put out that he was sort of not a badass but a killer in the whole thing. But I don't know, like you could tell he said it with an A. No hard R's here, buddy. But I was like, okay. I'm like, if this is the type we're gonna get, we're gonna have to see how Gunther responds in talking, because he does have a reverence about himself when he talks. But because he just can't be a mouse when he says it. But if we get this type of Damien Priest, I was like, he gonna lose, but at least it rocks it. And I was like, also we're gonna see what Judgment Day had in store, because that little thing with Finn and Dom is gonna bleed over a little bit to the other side at the same time. But anyway, that was Raw. Enjoyed it. We're gonna see how this goes as we get closer to them Wargames and whatnot. Till then, all day, every day, no problem. We got it. Peace. I'm out.